The mysterious first murder. The story of Cain raises more questions than it answers. Where did he find his wife? Who were the people he feared? How did humanity populate the earth so quickly? We'll address these perplexing issues as we unravel Cain's tale. In the familiar biblical narrative, Cain commits the first act of violence in human history by murdering his brother Abel. This shocking event marks a turning point in humanity's relationship with God and each other. However, there's more to Cain's story than most people realize. Beyond the well-known murder, Cain's tale is shrouded in mystery. The Bible presents us with puzzling details that challenge our understanding of early human history. Chief among these enigmas is the identity of Cain's wife. Who was she, and where did she come from? This question will guide our investigation throughout this video. The stakes are high. Unraveling the full story of Cain could reshape our comprehension of humanity's beginnings and the nature of good and evil. As we explore these biblical mysteries, we may find ourselves facing profound questions about human nature and our relationship with the divine. Cain's spiritual lineage. As we dig deeper into Cain's story, we encounter a startling revelation about his spiritual lineage. The Apostle John, in his first epistle, makes a bold statement that casts Cain in a new light. He writes, "Not as Cain, who was of the evil one, and violently murdered his brother." This declaration sets Cain apart, suggesting a spiritual connection to evil itself. This concept of being of the evil one stands in stark contrast to the idea of the children of God that John often speaks about. It implies a fundamental difference in Cain's nature, one that goes beyond mere actions and touches on his very essence. But what does it mean to be of the evil one? And how does this relate to Cain's infamous act of violence? To understand this, we need to explore the concept of the seed of the Nachash. In biblical terms, the Nachash refers to the serpent in the Garden of Eden, often associated with evil and rebellion against God. The idea of the seed of the Nachash encompasses those who oppose God's rule, creating a lineage of spiritual rebellion that includes both humans and divine beings. Cain's connection to this spiritual lineage of opposition to God raises intriguing questions about the nature of good and evil in the early days of humanity. If Cain was indeed of the evil one, was he destined for wickedness from the start? Or did his choices align him with this spiritual rebellion? This brings us to a controversial theory that has circulated in some theological circles. The serpent seed theory. This theory suggests that Cain's father was not Adam, but rather a divine being, specifically the Nachash from the Garden of Eden. Proponents of this theory point to grammatical ambiguities in Genesis 4:1, where the Hebrew word et can be interpreted in different ways. According to this interpretation, when Eve says, "I have gotten a man with the help of the Lord," it could imply a divine parentage separate from Adam. Some even reference ancient texts like the Targum's Pseudo-Jonathan, which introduces the idea that Cain was conceived by Samael, an angel associated with death and temptation. However, it's crucial to note that this theory lacks strong biblical support. Many scholars argue that Genesis 4:1 begins with a clear statement that Adam is Cain's father, and that Eve's declaration is simply an expression of gratitude to God for the miracle of childbirth. Regardless of the specific interpretation, the concept of Cain's unique spiritual lineage adds layers of complexity to his story. It forces us to grapple with questions about the nature of evil, free will, and the spiritual forces at work in the world, the hidden population of Eden. As we continue our exploration of Cain's story, we encounter a perplexing contradiction that challenges our understanding of early human history. After Cain murders his brother Abel, he expresses a fear that seems out of place in the context we've been given. He worries that anyone who finds him will kill him. But who could these potential killers be if, as commonly believed, Adam, Eve, and Cain were the only people left on earth? This fear of Cain suggests the existence of a hidden population in Eden, a concept that opens up new avenues of interpretation for the biblical narrative. It implies that there were other people beyond Adam and Eve's immediate family, raising questions about the nature and origin of these undocumented individuals. To unravel this mystery, we must look closely at Genesis 4:1, where Eve makes a curious statement after giving birth to Cain. She says, "I have gotten a man with the help of the Lord." The Hebrew text here is ambiguous, lacking the words, "with the help of." This has led some scholars to propose alternative interpretations of Eve's words. One such interpretation suggests that Eve might have been implying a more direct involvement of Yahweh in Cain's conception. The Hebrew verb kana, translated as have gotten, can also mean to create. This linguistic nuance has fueled speculation about a unique relationship between Eve and Yahweh in Cain's birth, although it's important to note that this is not a mainstream understanding. As we delve deeper into the biblical text, we encounter another intriguing concept that might shed light on the hidden population of Eden. In Genesis 6:1-4, we find mention of the sons of God and the daughters of humankind. This passage introduces the idea of supernatural beings intermingling with humans, suggesting a complex tapestry of interactions in early human history. The phrase sons of God has been interpreted in various ways. Some scholars believe it refers to divine beings, while others argue it denotes the righteous descendants of Seth. The daughters of humankind are generally understood to be human women. Regardless of the specific interpretation, this passage hints at the existence of populations beyond Adam and Eve's immediate descendants. These hidden populations could potentially explain the origin of Cain's wife, a figure whose existence has long puzzled biblical scholars. If there were indeed other people or beings outside of Adam and Eve's lineage, it would resolve the apparent contradiction of Cain finding a wife when he was supposedly one of only a few humans on Earth. However, this solution raises even more questions about the nature of early humanity. If there were other populations, what was their relationship to Adam and Eve? Were they fully human, or did they represent some other form of creation? The biblical text remains silent on these matters, leaving us to grapple with the implications. It's crucial to approach these ideas with caution. While they offer intriguing possibilities for understanding Cain's story and early human history, they also challenge traditional interpretations of the biblical narrative, unraveling the mystery of Cain's wife. The mystery of Cain's wife has puzzled biblical scholars and readers for centuries. Who was this woman? And where did she come from? Several theories attempt to answer these questions, each with profound implications for our understanding of early human history and biblical interpretation. One common theory suggests that Cain's wife was his sister. Genesis indicates that Adam and Eve had multiple sons and daughters, implying that close relatives married in the early generations of humanity. This explanation, while straightforward, raises ethical questions about incest and genetic diversity in the early human population. Another possibility is that Cain's wife came from an undocumented human population. This theory aligns with Cain's fear of being killed after murdering Abel, suggesting the existence of other people beyond Adam and Eve's immediate family. If true, this would significantly alter our perception of the biblical creation narrative and early human societies. A more controversial theory proposes a supernatural origin for Cain's wife. This idea stems from interpretations of Genesis 6:1-4, which mentions sons of God interacting with daughters of humankind. Some scholars suggest these sons of God were divine beings, potentially explaining the origin of Cain's wife as a union between the supernatural and human realms. Each of these theories carries significant implications for our understanding of early human history and biblical interpretation. If Cain married his sister, it suggests a very small initial human population and raises questions about genetic diversity. The undocumented population theory challenges traditional interpretations of Adam and Eve as the sole progenitors of humanity. The supernatural origin theory introduces complex theological questions about the nature of early human-divine interactions. However, it's crucial to acknowledge the limitations of these theories. The Bible does not provide explicit answers regarding Cain's wife. This lack of detail has led to centuries of speculation and debate, with no definitive resolution in sight. The absence of clear information in the biblical text may be intentional, inviting readers to grapple with deeper questions about human nature and divine purpose. The enduring legacy of Cain. Cain's story extends far beyond a simple tale of murder. It challenges our understanding of early human history, spiritual lineages, and the nature of evil itself. The questions surrounding Cain's wife and the hidden populations of Eden force us to reconsider our assumptions about the biblical narrative. These mysteries invite us to engage more deeply with the text, recognizing that familiar stories often hold complex layers of meaning. As we grapple with Cain's legacy, we confront profound questions about human nature and our relationship with the divine. The unanswered questions in his story serve as a reminder that biblical exploration is an ongoing journey of discovery. They encourage us to approach Scripture with curiosity and openness, always seeking deeper understanding. What other biblical mysteries might be waiting to be unveiled? The story of Cain reminds us that even the most familiar passages can hold surprising insights when we look beyond the surface. Thank you for watching, and make sure to like and subscribe to stay updated with our new videos.